What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohemoth, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm gonna pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
Announcement from Benjamin C. Steele talking to you about wearing a mask. Not this one, but this one. With everything going on right now with this pandemic, you need to wear a mask. My mask is for your safety. Your mask is for mine. Now, I don't care what your uncles, brothers, best friends, mailman's roommate from college put on social media. Chances are they didn't think it through, and there's a very better than average chance that they're an idiot. So when you go outside, you put on your little mask over your face, put the little straps around your ears, and we're all going to be a lot safer. This is a team.
Mercer, one half of the tag team champions. I'm here to tell you that if you want to be a champion, if you want to survive this thing, wear your freaking mask, okay? It comes in all different colors. You can get Eclipse Blue, JC White and Black, or even hell, Blue and Gold. But guys, please, also remember, please, it goes over the nose. Over the nose. Thank you.
truth in a man, yeah, fight. For referee breath.
Parental discretion is advised.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Just Pro Wrestling News Podcast. No filler, no pop-ups. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 763. Tuesdays, we've been talking about professionalized wrestling live from the Sorgatron Media Studios here in Pittsburgh, PA, ready to have a good time. And we're completely not watching NXT in the background. So the love story has continued from the looks of things. But we got with us, first of all, he's the only Mayhemmer with a future endeavored letter from the WWE and a slammy. He is Mad Mike.
Yeah, I do, Sorg. And by the way, Sorg, we got some heat.
We got some heat?
You and I.
Is it more heat than I have in the studio because we haven't had AC on here all day and it's like 80 degrees in Pittsburgh?
It's not that much heat.
There was snow 2 days ago, I want to point out.
Yeah. Sorg, no comment on my haircut. Nothing.
I know, last night and tonight.
What the fuck, Sorg?
We've been occupied. I'm sorry, Mike. I don't.
Sorg,
this
I
is
try
just
to
like
get
at
myself
home.
all pretty for you, and fucking nothing.
Listen, if you've noticed, I've not given a fuck the last week.
I'm aware of
I
that,
am in
but,
Sorg beard mode, okay? And I can't even grow a full beard, but that's just the I have given up on life mode over here.
Okay.
And I have way too much hair because I'm going to be in the desert avoiding scorpions by Friday, and this is probably going to be a problem. So
Probably gonna be a concern.
yeah, they're like, oh, it's gonna be like 90 degrees. I'm like, oh, all right, hold on a second. Hey Siri, what's the weather in Tucson, Arizona? We're gonna find out. But anyways, that's not the point. And also, if you know any indie promotions that are running this weekend in Tucson, Arizona, or at least within an hour drive of Tucson, Arizona, I would love to know about them because I want to bring back going to random indie shows when I'm traveling, since I'm allowed to travel again. So I'm vaxxed up, so I can go to your dirty indie shows. Listen, half of them are dirty. Let's be honest about the ones I've been to across this country. Like, dirty. So dirty. But that's when you know it's a good indie show is the filth factor sometimes. But also with us, I could turn that into a transition. Actually, I should. I was remarking internally about how clean you looked when we saw you a couple weeks ago in action. Remy LaVey. Nope, that's Mike. Remy LaVey of the Culmination is with us in studio.
What's going on?
First time at Sorgatron Media Studios.
Yeah, first time at the this new spot. Well, new to me.
You were at the Mayhem Studios, which was
Yes.
my basement.
Super OG.
Yeah, super OG. The basement days, the basement cuts, if you will. That somebody else owns that.
I went back and I watched that not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did we talk about? What were?
It was just like, it was crazy. It was crazy to see like how much it had changed, but also how much was just kind of like the same. More. I don't know if that's a good thing. Yeah, probably not.
We're doing the same show we were 10 years ago, apparently, more or less. But I mean, we was mostly the same people still here, right? So
Absolutely, I think that's a good thing.
absolutely. So
Hey, if nothing else, we're consistent.
we are consistent. We are consistent, and people are listening, and people are chiming in the chat rooms. Like Tina is out there, Dave Podner is out there. Sorg will be. I will be a puddle of sweat, you know. So I'm worried, dude. I'm gonna, you know, it is very possible. I've thought about this because a lot of times I'll just like hack my hair off before traveling season. And of course, I haven't done it for 2 years. So it is highly possible I will go to the first day in the desert and then go to immediately to a supercuts that night and shave my head. It's completely a possibility. So just maybe the last time you see this on the show. So. But anyways, this is the Wrestling Mayhem Show. Please go check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You can hit us up at that email address.
Good times.
Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com or 412-206-WMS0. Hit us up on Twitter at Mayhem Show, the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook page and group, and that's one of the places along with the YouTube page for Wrestling Mayhem Show and the Sorgatron Media Twitch page, where we go live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join us in all those chat rooms. We do keep an eye on it, especially since last week we had somebody lurking over on YouTube thinking we weren't watching them.
So someone's a bit of a Weisenheimer.
Somebody's like, I'm going to tell you what I really think about Mad Mike over on the YouTube chat for the page.
Guess what? My internet's good enough to run 2 different streams, motherfucker.
So we see you, Garza from the WrestlingRevolution.com. We see you, and Mike's on the watch out for you. Look at you. He's doing the eyeball thing. There he goes. He's doing the finger eyeball thing.
I'll find you. I'll find you, Garza.
I thought you were going to poke yourself in the eyes, Roddy Piper style. But also, so you're live. You can be part of that. You can please follow, subscribe, and rate the show, Wrestling Mayhem Show, on your favorite podcast place. You can also subscribe, if you will, to the Wrestling Mayhem Show super feed, where you also get the Monday Mayhem Warriors, which usually talks about the booking of Godzilla versus King Kong, as it did this week. Or when it comes back, I'll do one again someday. Indie Mayhem Show, when we do those shows, will also pop up on that feed. Or if you want everything, including Awesome Cast, including Bardic Mystery Tour, Comic Book Pit, that's over on the Sorgatron Media Master feed, if you want to subscribe to that and get all the cool things that we do here out of the studio. So, and then some. I mean, some of we have kind of independent partners with that as well. Like Comic Book Pit doesn't come around here no more because of COVID, but hopefully that'll change up here in the near future. So, also thank you to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. I know I have to update. I think one name I do have to update on this, but thank you to our fan of the show level, Bo Diggity. Woo! As well as Ed Berg, Bobby F. J-Town, and Team Hammer Fist, at the Poppy Club, Dave Podner, at the Pizza Club, Doc Remedy and Kyle Turner, and at the manager level, our buddies Farnsworth Investments, Bradley Ruthers, Tina Keys, The Riz, and OccupyProWrestling.com. Mad Mike, I saw that you were officially taken off of the Patreon, so you no longer get a shout out, but you do get to exist for the rest of the show.
I was going to say, I'm still here.
You're still here.
It's fine. And I still am the only one with a Slammy. So, I mean, you know.
Yes. Yeah. That is true. Mike, I was checking because, you know, I've won some awards myself.
Yeah.
Not as impressive as a Slammy, but I do have a golden quill.
Oh, well, Sorg, we should announce you with a recipient of a golden quill.
I am a recipient of a golden. Well, I mean, never received anything, and my name's on the award, I guess. But
are you saying people have to? Are you saying people have to pay for their own trophies? Sometimes?
I don't know what happens with the golden quill award. I mean, because I was only the audio engineer for I was updating my LinkedIn page today. Okay, so but you'll notice there's a lot of awards on there, and we possess almost none of them. I think we do have a copy of the city proclamation for Chachi Plays for Kids that we have. I've been wanting to put that in the studio, never ended up doing it. But anyways, that's enough of that. So, which also included in the picture then Councilman, but upcoming. What was he? An undercover boss participant, Mayor Peduto. Yeah, he was on Undercover Boss on like CBS or something, wasn't he? So there you go. There you go.
Along with Stephanie McMahon.
I don't think that was the same episode.
I know, but like same show.
She was a member of that. Yes. Yeah. So there you go. We're 2 degrees from Stephanie. Well, we're even closer because like Matt Carlin's interviewed her that one time. So
yeah.
Anyways, enough of that. Thank you. You guys can support the show too at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show, which I can tell you is keeping us in wrestling. Because I mean, it did. We did watch the Impact pay-per-view this past weekend. And we do make sure that we do have access to all the services. I mean, just like those big corporate companies that make sure they have an eye on their competition. We make sure we are subscribed to all those other services. I am no longer subscribed to the UK WWE network, by the way. I decided to cancel that. I will point that out. But the experiment was done. I'm not going to keep searching for like random Britt Baker job matches like we'd used as an example or anything like that. So that's done. I mean, I don't even know how much I was paying because I don't know how to convert pounds to US dollars, and I couldn't figure out. I didn't dig that deep into my PayPal. Anyways, so but well, let's talk about first of all, I want to go back to last week because I feel like sometimes we forget things that happen on the Wednesday and Thursdays after the show. Hence why we end up talking about like more recent. By the way, shout out because I understand a lot of friends of the show were on AEW Dark tonight. Andrew Palace, and then the main event, the real main event, because I know 2 main event tag teams are now on that show. But I heard it was really good. I usually watch Dark while I edit this show, so I'm looking forward to seeing that later tonight and see what Taz has to say about our buddies Duke Davis and Gannon Jones Jr. So,
oh yeah,
who dropped the Junior on the show? I noticed. Did you see that on the graphic? So, but the big news from last week was Mickie James. She apparently received her personal FX. I don't know, what do we call that when you're sent the shit from your desk? I don't know if it's a locker.
Personal effects. Yeah.
Personal effects. Okay. And she shared the picture, and there was a video too that was going around. I didn't realize. I just saw the picture, and I just saw the video like yesterday. Because I'm like, is this? Because I was trying to interpret, like, okay, wait, is this supposed to happen this way? Is it a trash bag? Like, is this a joke? And it's like, oh no, this is serious, and it's weird, and that kind of thing. Yeah, it was just a trash bag that had her name on it. So, and that got around, and longtime talent, what was he, a talent coordinator?
Talent relations
guy I really didn't like on Total Divas. He was usually the one telling about like how they're going to be booked and don't dye your hair blonde.
He was the one that told Eva Marie that she was going to be in trouble for dyeing her hair red.
Yeah.
Carano?
Yeah.
That's him.
Mark Carano, fired from the WWE. I never really liked that guy. So,
oh wow.
I mean, as far as like the just seeing him on Total Divas, some backstage stuff, I just feel like he might be part of the problem, kind of thing. And apparently he is. So he was fired of that. I think both Stephanie and Triple H tweeted to the regard of personnel being taken care of.
Mm-hmm. And apologizing to Mickie James.
Yes. So, I mean, because that's bullshit. Like she was let go, she's let go. She wasn't like...
Yeah, like she was handling the release fairly well. Like,
yeah.
She was going to bounce back. She was going to, do other stuff in wrestling, which is all well and good, but no one deserves that. It doesn't matter what company you work for or how you let go. Like no one deserves shit like that to happen.
And then somebody thinks that's okay. Is ridiculous. Yeah. And it was just kind of a big it was a big kind of exclamation mark on, I mean, a lot of things that we kind of suspect here on this show, as fans, seeing things that happen in the wrestling companies. There's definitely, what did I say? It's always that company culture, right? So, but yeah. So, and I guess she's going to be on. Whose podcast is it, or is it just a one-off?
I think it's her podcast.
Oh, she has a podcast. Has she always had a podcast?
I'm pretty sure. I know it's SoCal Val and Victoria. I know they have someone else too. I forget who else is on the podcast with them. I'm trying to look it up right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
there was a lot of weird
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, it was her podcast. It was her podcast with SoCal Val and Victoria called GAW, Grown Ass Women.
Nice.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happened when she got let go the first time, right? When she was like stalking Cena or something.
What?
Mickie James.
Was that like a storyline, or was
No,
that...
no, for
there
real.
was supposedly some like real life backstage stuff happening.
Oh wow.
I feel like they just like it's weird. Like something will happen and then a couple years go by and they bring them back just to like do something really mean and just like crazy to them again.
Now, Mickie, when she came back this time, like at first it was, didn't she have a match with Asuka out of nowhere on a takeover? Like they were doing the Who Can Beat Asuka tour when she was just running through NXT. So I mean, that was, it's not like they brought her back into a weird situation. She was doing that. She was Alexa Bliss's buddy, for a while there. Like
she opened Evolution.
Right. I mean,
her and Alicia Fox against Trish and Lita.
I mean, she was being slated as sort of a diva legend or something like that. But I mean, she had a really good run, this go around for the most part. I think
she was really good in TNA before that too.
Oh yeah. I mean, she really kind of.
She survived getting hit by a train.
Yes. Yes. Apparently immune.
Let us never forget.
Immune to trains, Mickie James.
Hit by the Hogwarts Express.
But don't send her shit in a trash bag. So
yeah. That's not cool.
That's not cool at all. So, geez. Let's see. He was running talent relations until Johnny Ace came back into the fold, and that's the old Jim Ross, Tommy Dreamer slot, right? So, I mean that's apparently Mark Carrano also hoards used title belts under his guest room bed. I have nothing except the chat room telling me this in Team Hammerfist.
That is.
I mean,
that is uncomfortable.
That is it is a little bit. So, let's see. It was then he was a mass mutual. Wait, I'm just deciphering the chat room right now. Yeah. Mickie James' career spans about 20 years. Yes, I remember Alexis Lurie on the questionable DVDs I got from Wal-Mart that one time. I've taught
the women of wrestling DVDs.
It was the no. It was the women's extreme wrestling.
Women's extreme wrestling
/ women's exotic wrestling. It was this. So they were the cleansed versions, right? But there was definitely some allusions to some of these girls might be strippers. But she was on it and she was very good. Like it was like she was oh okay, and then she popped up and I was like, oh wait, she's Mickie James. Like this is gonna be good. Like she was like a really good indie. Women's wrestler. And, in that era, I think they were kind of hard to find.
Definitely.
And, we're talking like what, mid-2000s, late 2000s, something like that. But, it's one of those, you get one of those like giant, like, hey, a 10-disc set, but they're all double-sided DVDs, and each of them was a volume. Right?
Jesse's saying, tell us about the DVDs.
So let me tell you about these DVDs. So when you look up women's exotic wrestling, women's extreme wrestling, and in the end, they were running out of ECW arena when, everybody was running out of the ECW arena in the mid to late 2000s. Like literally everybody. That list was crazy when we went there the first time. And I think you could still find them from time to time on pay-per-view because they ended up turning into like lewd pornographic. They had a PWO called the Pussy World Order, for instance. Like that's how big, like they were just straight up. Like, the wrestling was certainly secondary in this promotion. Actually, I think about it. It's starting to sound familiar to something else that I experienced lately.
I'm just trying to think.
The XPW guy was like a porn director too. Like very weird. Like era.
That wasn't Feinstein, was it? It was somebody else.
His name was Rob Black.
Rob Black, yeah. Rob Black was involved in the porn industry. I mean, remember, porn goes back with wrestling a long way.
Absolutely.
Because
Jenna Jameson.
Well, no. Well, I mean, directly like that, but I'm talking about Coliseum Video.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That carried all the WWF videos.
It's like the stuff I was stealing from my dad.
Yeah, it was, but they were a pornography distributor.
And of course, Lord Alfred Hayes was on both.
We'll just leave that there. But yeah. So I mean,
because he still did the promotional consideration. I mean,
that rolls.
Oh jeez. Oh boy.
Just imagine if you're getting ready to load up a porn video from Coliseum Home Video, and the first thing you hear is
no.
promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Remy, where's the iPad? Sorry. I realized my note taker wasn't in front of me for me to note some things. Understand? No, I don't know. Let me clarify.
Alfred Hayes.
The porn was not released under Coliseum Home Video. The porn was the label. No. I'm sorry. I'm getting this confused now. The Coliseum Video. Okay. The distributor was a distributor of pornography. Coliseum Home Video was the label to separate that on your shelves.
Oh, okay.
Like that was the cover for the porn company that distributed WWF content. Wow.
My version's way funnier.
Yo, your version's way funnier, but I'm just saying that's not what I'm trying to get at here.
Okay.
Mike, I'm trying to educate you on history, okay? Wait till you get the dark side of the ring on this stuff.
Tina's also saying Gangrel is a porn director.
Gangrel is a porn. I mean, listen. Okay, yes. Okay, there's a lot of crossovers. There's One Night in China. There's just
the
China
Godfather legit ran a strip club in Vegas.
Well, that's a strip club. That's not porn.
Major
guns. That's a different.
Depends on how much money you have, Sorg.
That's a different branch.
Sorg, depends on how much money you have. Depends on how well you do with the tables.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. So, but the point is, don't necessarily think you should pick up random wrestling DVDs about women at Walmart. Is that where we're at with this?
I think we got back to that.
I think we got back around there. Okay. Mike.
DP saying, so like Buena Vista is the cover for Disney.
Yes. Touchstone Pictures is where we put the raunchier movies under Disney, right?
You know, if,
3 Men and a Baby.
If there was an analogy I thought that was going to happen from tonight, Buena Vista is to Disney as Coliseum Video is to porn. Definitely wasn't on my radar.
Oh, jeez. Sorry, I'm taking notes to catch up with the last 20 minutes of this show.
Wrestling.
But it fits. It fits. See, Remy, I told you weren't going to have a problem on this show catching up. I did want to touch base because you had more to say. We didn't talk about the match necessarily last night with Kenny Omega and Rich Swan from Impact Rebellion. You got to watch it. A lot of us watch it. My God, I paid for an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view in 2021. Oh, I don't think I bought an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view in well over 10 years. So
I miss going to the movie theater.
I did. That's probably the last pay-per-view I saw live was the lockdown in the movie theater.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It didn't work.
What movie theater was that?
They used to carry it up at the Cinemark. That's where I saw it. Yeah. Now, when I was there, the satellite feed was bad.
I think I was probably there.
You were probably the same one where it was like it skipped during the main event.
2010 or 2000.
It feels like
was it the Hogan Sting?
I don't think it was Hogan Sting.
Oh, okay. I went to 2 there.
No.
There was like a mail in. My friend mailed in for the shirt. He never got the shirt though.
What?
Yeah.
They were such a.
I feel like it was for anniversary or something.
Yeah, that could be.
And there was maybe a lockdown.
Maybe there's definitely a cage match
with Jeff Hardy.
Could be.
Sorg. It was lockdown. They were all cage matches.
Well, yes. Okay. Yes.
There was definitely a cage match.
Was it Hardy versus RVD or something?
I feel like James Storm was in the main event.
Was that the one where there was an arm wrestling match inside the cage?
It was definitely not that one.
With Bullet
dude,
Bob?
If I would still be talking about it if I went to the movie theater and watched the stupid lockdown with an arm wrestling match in the steel cage. Okay?
There was like 2 other people in there besides me and my friends.
Yeah.
Sorg, what year do you think this was? 2016?
We're thinking 2010, something like
that.
Yeah,
way before 2016, like ACH era.
All right,
like
now I'm just gonna look up random lockdowns.
Yes. They did it with a lot of the pay-per-views.
Sting and Hogan was the main event of one of them that I was at.
This one had Team Hogan versus Team Flair. Sting was on Team Flair.
I don't think that's the one. I feel like I just feel like James Storm was in the main event, probably for the championship, and that compelled me to go pay for a movie. I was by myself because I couldn't get anybody to come with me because it was that era TNA where I'm like, I gotta give this a shot, and I don't know.
Oh boy, this card.
Okay, let's talk about the new Impact Wrestling, which was a very good show. Did you watch the entire show, or did you watch the main event? Okay, so I gotta say, so the one I thought generally the show was very good. I'm not gonna say it's entirely worth $40, but it was. I was not completely angry that I paid $40 for this thing. The big thing that stuck out was the Last Man Standing, Trey Miguel and Sami Callihan for me.
I saw the clips from that. It looked awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff there.
I thought that was going to, like, the way they were, because again, I have not watched Impact in years.
Yes.
So I was coming into all this fresh. The only thing I knew about was the Ryder and Hawkins feud, just because it's Ryder and Hawkins. So I kind of knew what was going on. I don't know, the way they were touting that, I thought it was going to be a little bit more extreme than it ended up being. I mean, it was fine.
He fish hooked him with a wrench, dude. Like there's some like stuff that kind of came off kind of brutal. I mean, they're not gonna like bleed all over the place. But like they're not AEW, man.
It also looked kind of cheesy.
I have a feeling this company won't bleed all over a television studio just for the hell of it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's where they're at. At least
which is fine. I appreciate that. But like
AEW's.
I don't know. The finish was a little like I didn't even see the finish coming really.
For the Last Man Standing.
For the Last Man Standing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, that was that. Ooh, some interesting stuff happening over on NXT. So we have that. But so let's talk about the main event. You had. I think the right move was made. I don't want to hate on Rich Swann, but man, I did not like Rich Swann as a champion. Like it didn't sell. I don't know. It just didn't seem.
It seems
big enough.
like it's Rich Swann didn't seem like a big enough deal,
right? And not like, that, and not that really kind of bash on Rich Swann, but it's just he didn't. He doesn't seem like the guy that carry a company, and also we had the conversation after the show of, well, then who would, like who could be in that? Who would you put in that Kenny Omega, all the titles on the line, crazy dream match, right? As far as the title thing goes, at least,
it almost seemed like, because if I'm not mistaken, Rich Swann and Moose had the match last month,
right?
To unite the titles.
And that's how he got the second title, because
it
Moose
almost seems like they just picked the winner of that match as to who would have a better match with Kenny Omega.
Yes.
Like to an extent, that's kind of what it seems like to me, because like I'm pretty sure you throw Omega and Moose on there, people are gonna be like, "Ooh, what is that?"
It is. And Moose has been a long run for me to get into, right?
Yeah, like I haven't seen Moose since the days when I used to watch Impact.
Yeah,
and boy, I do not remember him favorably.
So,
and then I saw he was doing.
I think he's gotten a lot better.
He's gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot better. I got to see him in action when we were doing Warrior Wrestling back in September. And actually it was really impressive, and dude, I've seen Moose since 2010 in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think it's cool that he's just stuck, he's stayed stuck with it.
Yeah, for a guy I forget he's been around for over 10 years. That's ridiculous.
Came from football, right?
Yeah, but he has to be a football guy, right? Look at him. So
I kind of almost wish it was James Storm
in this position.
No, seriously, like a TNA stalwart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because James Storm may not have the greatest matches in the world, but when you think TNA, one of the guys you think of is James Storm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And granted, that probably wouldn't have been the best match either, but.
And Matt's pointing out, and I agree with this. The Moose and Swan last month actually was really good. Mike, you have, of course, through Mayhem, you have access. I would recommend going back and just watch that main event if you have a chance.
Probably not going to do that, Sorg. I'm going to be honest.
Of the things you're going to do.
I'm going to be honest. No, I watched the pay-per-view, all right?
Yes.
It wasn't a terrible show.
No.
I didn't regret watching it.
Well,
did anything really draw me in?
Okay.
Not really.
Here,
like, the thing that I was most intrigued about was the women's division.
So here's something else. Not WrestleMania, say, but let's say Fastlane. Let's say a general WWE pay-per-view on average. Obviously, apples and oranges. We're talking about paying $5 to watch the show versus 40.
Yeah.
How do you compare an Impact pay-per-view in quality of action, entertainment versus a standard, not Rumble, not Mania, standard WWE pay-per-view?
I mean, there was no. I didn't feel there was a standout match on the show. I didn't feel like there was.
Okay.
Okay. There were a lot. Like, were there any matches I would give like 8, 9s, or 10s? No, not really. Because like with the main event, I'm like, if there is a finish, it's Omega. Like I didn't think there was going to be a finish.
And they set up a lot for that. Remember, they said like you got a Hebner, you got a second referee with Aubrey, you got plenty of people outside the ring. It looked like it was going to get weird, and it did for one moment, and it really was a clean finish.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's good. But like there wasn't anything that really stood out for me. Like, and there were a lot of people I like on the show, like Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellerling winning the tag titles. That was very cool.
Very cool.
I got to see Taylor Dashwood wrestle for the first time in a long time.
Right.
And I loved Emma. And that was great. But none of the guy matches really stood out to me.
So here's actually a problem I'm having. I'm having a problem with Impact Wrestling's women's division. He's just not hitting it for me.
Okay.
And it's this thing that everybody's been touting for the last year or so. Maybe it's been flattened a little bit with the pandemic, and no fans, perhaps. But I've seen very little. Other than Jordan Grace and Jazz, I've been very excited for those matches. Right. I'm very excited for that title win with Rachel Ellering and Jordan Grace with Jazz as the manager. But the women's division and Deonna, I remember Deonna. I don't want to say I remember her being better, and maybe it's her opponents, maybe it's the environment. I don't know, but it's not. I'm not as excited for her as I used to be for whatever reason. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I can't
didn't
put
really
my
get
finger
her
on
gimmick.
it. Yeah,
I didn't get her gimmick. I'll say that. Like I like Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah.
I didn't get her gimmick.
Yeah, I do too. Dude,
she's a good wrestler.
Dude, I've filmed amazing matches with her. You know, like around here, she's one that's on the watch list for me, right? But
in the chat room, they're asking us if we think Rich Swan still has the stink of 205 Live on him.
So to me, my problem with Rich Swan was his performance in that match. That was my take. Like Rich, I'm like, well, is Kenny Omega gonna have like a half an hour New Japan style match with Rich Swan and really make this dude? You know what I mean? It didn't happen. And actually, Rich, I thought, did not look okay in some of those spots. So, there's just, a little bit of, weird sloppiness.
And
I don't know if it was a bad night for Rich. I don't know. But it definitely...
And I'm going to say this.
It's your biggest stage, dude. That's it.
The second you open a pay-per-view with TJ Perkins for me,
listen,
really
it's a problem.
That really takes a lot of steam out of it.
But he didn't win, and Josh Alexander's your X Division champion, and that's actually actually pretty awesome.
But Sorg, when I haven't watched a pay-per-view from Impact in 5 years,
and here's this guy you don't like.
Take,
yeah.
The first thing I see is TJ Perkins.
Yes.
Oof, I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know about I'm gonna watch it. I don't know about it.
Yeah, they're thinking 205 stink on Swan. I think that's a little.
No, I don't think so. I think it's more of. I don't
agree
what happened.
With that. Yeah,
it was more of a stink of what happened when he got released.
So we're talking about you're talking about this idea. Impact has problematic guys. Rich Swan had a domestic issue that he got fired over. I think somebody was pushed from a car in that instance. I believe he got cleared of it. So take that for what it is. The guy's not,
Yeah, OJ got cleared too.
I know. But still, you have to take that for a grain.
No, I don't.
I know. Okay. And TJP, all I can remember is he was a dick to Riz. So, and I'm sure he's done.
He's a dick
to everybody. Yes, I know, but I know specifically he was a straight up dick.
I'd push him off the flat Earth if I could.
There you go. So, anyways, Remy, I know you didn't get to see the pay-per-view necessarily, but I mean you've seen the news and the clips and stuff. Like, what do you think of the Kenny Omega belt collector situation going on right now?
I think it's awesome. I think it's pretty sick. I mean, Rich Swan I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was one of the people that really pushed me to start training back in the day, and like watching him in like 2009, 2010 at like CCW and with like Adam Cole, like Sammy, and then seeing him tear it up in like PWG and all the indies, and then getting that NXT break, getting the call up. It's just like he was at Impact before that, and then back to Impact. So, I mean, I didn't get to see the match, so I don't want to tear it up too much. But I mean, Swan is awesome. I'm glad that he's been able to just like keep moving around, and obviously they put the belt on him for a reason. They see something they like in him. I think it's hard too. Like, live events are hard without really having a crowd, but I feel like pay-per-views have really suffered from not having like the crowd, and it's hard. Like, it's definitely hard. Even like doing some of the shows I've done that have just been for like streaming or like tapings and stuff. It is it's really tricky without you. It makes you appreciate like the relationship between the wrestlers and the fans a lot more, not just for yourself personally, but even when I'm watching wrestling as a fan, like you definitely notice it. And from firsthand experience, it's sometimes hard to kind of get your tempo or your sync set when you don't have that crowd, that energy, and like you don't have their emotions kind of like leading your match or dictating what you're going to do in the ring. But I think Omega, I mean, I did see the match he had with Moxley, like the crazy like Onita match, and that was awesome. And I know everyone kind of crapped on like the end of it, but it was still awesome.
It was a weird finish, but it was like there was a lot of fun in that. It was a fun ride to watch, right? So,
absolutely. You can tell that Moxley and Omega are just huge fans of that Onita match and like the crazy old school like FMW stuff. So it was just cool to see that on a major platform, not just like an indie or something. Like, it's cool that AEW let them like do that match. Absolutely. But I mean, no surprise that he I mean, Omega's had so many like bangers. It's not even funny at this point. Like, he can just do whatever he wants now. I feel like his New Japan run was like psychotic. Truly, all those matches he had with Okada are just like the best matches of all time.
He's definitely he's kind of earned this, and to have this kind of like U.S. run and have him just kind of doing this full takeover. Like, I mean, really, we're still introducing Kenny Omega to American audiences, aren't we? You
have to kind of like remind yourself that he was not a lot of people like knew about him until the Bullet Club thing. Yeah, and even when the Bullet Club thing started to catch on, he hadn't really even like when he first came over as like the cleaner. Like, I was stoked about it because I knew Kenny Omega from PWG, but like that was right even before he kind of took off, and like I think that was like right at the beginning of him just taking it to a whole nother level and watching him come all this way. I mean, rightfully deserved, Absolutely. He's the man.
Absolutely.
Love Street Fighter, which I love Street Fighter, so
it's love to see that. Like, I love to see Evil Uno is involved with like the AEW gaming situation.
Oh yeah,
there.
There's a really cool like deathmatch game in development too. That's like this indie company. Yeah, and that looks awesome.
There's a lot of those going around. There's a lot of like cool wrestling.
We need it because the 2K games haven't been very good.
I'm not looking forward to the new one. I like Battleground, but I
just wish they would come out with a new Crush Hour.
Exactly.
I know we get on this.
Hey, what if you got
every time we mention video games?
Whoa, wait a minute. What if we get an AEW Crush Hour clone?
I'm all for that. Because then you can say Kenny Omega has a twisty rocket.
Dude, if I can drive like the best friends minivan driven by Sue, I'm in. I am in.
Sue's minivan.
Everybody, start tagging Kenny
Start
Omega.
your engines.
Tag Evil Uno. Tag
AEW, start your engines.
Tag Ref Aubrey. AEW Games would be like, listen, you know what game I love? WWE Crush Hour. I'm just going to put this here for you. They're not doing it. What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to look up AEW Games, and I'm going to send it to them right now.
It's just AEW Games on all the social medias, I do believe.
Yep,
so
I'm finding their most because honestly, their casino game fucking sucks.
Yo, fuck that casino game, guys. And I don't say that about a lot of AEW, but like, what the hell? Anyways, that's enough of that. You know what's good? You know what's still rocking is IndieWrestling.us. We got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, Prospect Pro Wrestling's latest show, Dime Time, is available on there on the Indie Wrestling .network as well. I know I've seen a few of you out there catching up with that from the network and talking about the show after that. Also, check out the YouTube account. We've been having some fun with 2PW lately. You can check out the Chase Gold counter. If you're not familiar with Chase Gold, we're actually going to be we're actually in talks with trying to get Chase Gold on the couch here, but we are also going to need some new ventilation. Let's just put it that way. He is supposedly the best smelling man in professional wrestling. But check out the Chase Gold counter over on the IndieWrestling.us YouTube page or the Prospect Pro Wrestling Facebook page. Of course, a lot of great stuff going on there. You can check out the trailer now on both IndieWrestling.us and 2PW's social media as well. And a lot of projects in the works for that. IndieWrestling.us Productions has at least a few interesting things in the works that will be in the can or filming in the next month, actually. We've just had some cool stuff scheduled. And, of course, the next 2PW show, which is going to be Payback, that sounds familiar, is going to be a part of that as well shortly after that show goes off here on May 15th. So, and as our friends and partners and new partners, as we're working with finalizing some details with not a new promotion, but a new event that's going to be happening in the Pittsburgh area. Those will be part of the VODs, at least, if not the network as well. And check out our friends Pro Wrestling Conquest from down in Charleston, West Virginia. A lot of great stuff there. And there's a fantastic new event that's going to be coming up here later in May as well. And somebody that you can see over on IndieWrestling.network is the you don't go by the Mind Eraser anymore, right? Like
no, I still do.
He did say that last show, didn't he? Like that's an old moniker for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the only one I've ever had.
Okay. I see. Last I seen you were in a group. Well,
yeah,
I mean, you're still in a group.
Yeah.
Last time I seen you,
especially over last year. Like last year is just like a black hole.
Well, I haven't seen you for definitely a year in action. But when I did, you're in the combination, of course, which has wavered in membership, including Atticus Koger and Jason Gorey, depending on where you're popping up, of course, including over at 2PW. Yeah, so it's always been a group. So I've never had just, hey, here's the Mind Racer Remy LaVey, or even Reaper's Lot. I've been seeing you in over in West Virginia, that place I forget.
Yeah, with Connor. That was I miss Connor a lot. Shout out to Matt Connor.
That's right. I saw he got his Reaper merchandise back on Pro Wrestling Tees. So hope that's good. Yeah. Hope that's good news for the trademark. So.
Yeah, I saw he was doing some merch for I'm not sure, off the top of my head I don't remember what it was for, but for a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that he just won a strap, I think, in West Virginia. So
IWA, isn't it?
Yeah. Big. That's awesome.
Is that Mid-South that they run?
I don't know.
I can't keep the IWA straight. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just saw the picture and messaged him. But yeah, I miss him a lot. There's a lot of people I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people from Ohio and some of the other guys that I haven't seen in what seems like over a year. It's crazy.
That was a big thing. Of course, like I said, just under 2 weeks ago, we were both there in our own capacities with 2PW, and it just feels like such a reunion.
Yeah.
For
this
shows
promo was
like
sick.
that.
This was for Premiere in Cleveland. This promo that we did.
Oh, yeah. So that was tacked onto your intro video.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's some great back. Yeah, that's the video that played when you came out.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that.
No, you're on the other side of the curtain.
I'm always the last one to get the links and be able to actually watch my own matches and stuff.
Yeah, so
I feel like I'm always the last one.
So this is the first event with 2PW with fans since the leap year day last year. So well over a year for them. They had a good 135, I think, was the capacity for out there in Freeport, Pennsylvania, and classically no internet connection. So that's fun too. So but
it was awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, it was good to have like a nice. I don't want to say smaller. It was a nice size gymnasium, but
that building was really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, you had a 3-way match. What was that? Xander Gabriel as a part of that,
and David Hetfield.
David Hetfield, the detective.
Yes.
So it was good to see you back in action over there. But generally, I know you've been going around, IWC, RSW, Real Shoot Wrestling down there in West Virginia.
Yeah. Shout out to RSW. Shout out to Tim.
Like those few things that, and we've talked about, especially RSW on the show and what they've been doing down there, especially over the summer. I got to visit them for a taping.
Just super chill and just like they really like look out for me, and I've always tried to go extra hard for people that have looked out for me and that have I have a strong connection with in the business. Mm-hmm. So especially Tim and TJ, they've really helped me like kind of get out of the slump that I was in from last year from everything going on. I think everyone was kind of dealing with some doubt, and especially if you've like been at it for a minute. I think we all had as a wrestler, even before the pandemic and stuff, you always have a lot of, at least I do, of self-doubt. I've kind of always been my biggest obstacle in a lot of ways, but yeah, they've really helped like get me kind of back on track and have just believed in me since day one and supported me and have always given me really awesome opportunities and opponents. So shout outs to RSW for sure.
Yeah, it's a group, and a lot of great names are coming through there too over
Absolutely.
the years. Like, look at some of their old show posters, and it's just ridiculous list of people. And I saw Chavo Guerrero was on a show with them in Cleveland. I was like, what is this? So,
yeah,
like who gets Chavo Guerrero in the Northeast anymore unless it's a big show?
You get a nice mix of like, some of the more mid-South kind of guys.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh guys too, which is cool. Tim's really helped like our scene out, helping especially like younger, like new talent get out and get on the road a little bit. It's a nice, it's usually a nice drive, but they run in Cleveland, and I think they have a weekend coming up in Connecticut's like the state. So
they once reached out to me about doing video with them, and I was like, you literally have too many dates for me to help you. So, like they gave me the schedule. I'm like, you're someplace, you're in a different state every weekend. I don't even know what I can do for you at this point.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have,
yeah.
and but it was also like, it was like, I can't, like this would my life would have to be working with you guys. I don't even know how that's going to work.
It's always tough. I literally just like sat down the other day and like had to like actually do my calendar. Mm-hmm. Because it's starting to get things are starting to pick up a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting. So it's wild because it's a little different. We're a little inside baseball here. I'm used to having every promotion that I communicate with has their schedule at the beginning of the year. Yeah,
and you have your schedule and you figure it out. But like everybody,
then things get changed.
Then things happen
100 times.
Yeah, 100 times, and it's just this. I'm like, okay, what do we do when there's like a triple booking in December, which always happens.
Always.
Things like that. And then it's like, it's like, well, I got 12 months to figure this out. But now it's like, you're finding like shows are kind of, dates are rolling out. Like, not too many promotions would you be like, okay, when's the next date after the show?
Yeah.
But now that's how everybody's running, because everybody's still kind of growing into what's happening, I feel. I mean, obviously things are open up. We just had the announcement today of if you're vaccinated, you can go outside with a mask and things like that.
Yeah.
Other states are.
I didn't know about that.
It just was happening. I think today was the announcement, if not yesterday. But obviously other states have been more liberal with it. Pennsylvania has not been one of those states, and we're really, I feel like now starting to boot that up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we still don't have all the promotions back, but it's now like, okay, shows feel kind of real again, and we're getting there, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Where, I'm hoping end of summer we be normal.
Yeah.
If nothing goes weird.
I mean, I don't think there's any good that's going to come from rushing anything.
No, obviously no. Everything needs to be done in its own time.
Yeah, and it's like a personal thing. Like I've learned at this point, like, you know, you can only really just do what you're gonna do, and my advice would be just, worry about yourself.
Absolutely.
What you're comfortable with.
Absolutely. And also, like, because I know this is a discussion, like, don't go to a wrestling show if you're not comfortable. If you're still not.
Yeah, stay at home.
Depending on where you're at.
No
that's
one's
okay.
forcing you to, and no one's gonna, they shouldn't make you feel any type of way about that. You know.
And a lot of the companies are providing, if not the day of, very shortly after. I know we try to get our shows out within like 2 days after the show.
Yeah.
So you're not dealing with the FOMO too long, right?
Yeah, and I like, just from my experience, the shows that I have been doing since last year, like the protocol, like everyone's doing everything, doing a really good job. It's not easy to run a show, let alone take everyone's temperature and make sure everyone's good, and make sure everyone's cleared, so to speak. And not having intermission, that really sucks. I miss being able to, not only wrestlers are really hurting and not being able to sell merch and stuff. I think we're all just missing seeing the regular fans all the time, and having that little break in the middle of the show. I always think it's you can I have my stuff online, like t-shirts. I run my little DIY online store, but I feel like fans really want that interaction. They want to be able to talk to you, and I think it means a lot when you can get it from the hands of the artist or the wrestler, whether it's a band or wrestling or anything like that, or if you go to Comic-Con or something. I think that there's like fans have that such a strong connection, especially in wrestling, and I think that both the fans and the wrestlers are missing like that time.
That's the thing. I mean, and that was the thing of indie wrestling, was that up close and personal, whether it be ringside, which even that is, there's been more space put in there, though something for some of them may be better in case than others. Because some were putting fans way too close to the ring for my liking personally, for safety's sake. Not even COVID, but it was that tactile thing, having like, hey, this wrestler could land in your lap,
Exactly.
We were watching a show last week and we're like, hey, just a reminder, if somebody comes your way, grab your shit and move, was all over the Polycult show the other day, right?
Yeah.
So, Polyam called, apologies. But like, I hear, is that a Midwest thing? Is that's what it was referred to as, like a very Midwest wrestling thing? The get the fuck out of the way. If the wrestlers come your way, I don't know.
It might be, because if you watch like ECW and all the East Coast shows, no one moved.
That is, okay, there's that too. There's that too, right? So I mean, and I know
if you moved, it's because you were moved.
I know we have some West people out there. Let us know what your experience is with those two. So, but yeah, we know, like, yeah, it's since day one going to shows here. In Elizabeth, it was like, yeah, no, you get out of the way. There's no guardrail. They can come at you, move it. You always have that point in the show where it doesn't matter what your assigned seat was, because the chairs are who knows where. So RWA was really bad with that too. That back row got messed up a lot. So I've seen I don't know how many times I've seen Super Hentai crash into those. But well, either way, you're spitting things up. Really good things happening. I know I've seen you popping up on my feed a lot with some wrestling going on.
Yeah.
And it's good. It feels like it's been way too long since I got to hang out with you at a wrestling show, let alone on a show like this.
No, yeah, 2PW. That was really nice when I saw you were there, and yeah, it's like a whirl. I'm always in a whirlwind, and just like little things like that, slowly easing back into it, and makes you appreciate, not only just the wrestlers, but all the people that I haven't gotten to see, like you, or, referees, announcers, top to bottom, just people that, everyone that makes sure that the whole product is complete. And, gotta shout out everyone. It wouldn't be possible without everyone contributing. So it was really nice to be back in front of a crowd, and also see a lot of people that I haven't gotten to see at IWC or elsewhere.
Absolutely, good crew over there. 2PW. It's definitely one of the highlights. Is definitely working that company, and it's such a young company too. I think I added it up, and they hadn't even done 12 shows at this point.
Rob is saying in the chat room, how about a Lucha Fiesta where there are pregnant women or people with infants in the front row with no rails?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was experience across the street here. So yeah, I know you've been rewatching that Lucha Fiesta. So man, I wanna do something with that show because it was such an experience, and more people need to see it. And man, maybe I can talk them talk them into doing another one across the street. We probably should have that conversation here. They really loved the first one. They wanted them to come back. But I think other things happen, so outside of everybody's control. But hey, there's a history of wrestling in this neighborhood. Across the street in this parking lot, at least twice in this parking lot down here at the end of the street, up in the middle of the road. That was not good wrestling though. Maybe we'll bring some good stuff. Remy, you're gonna come back and wrestle in this neighborhood. So
I'd love to bash at the beach. You
bash it. Whoa.
$1 million idea. I'm full of them.
Oh, I'm writing that down right now, and I'm going to submit it to the local community group, of which my wife is a part of.
You can put my royalties aside for that.
Beachview, courtesy,
sponsored
by Remy LaVey. What's that?
I just got it.
Bash at the Beachview?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Maybe that's what our Wrestling Mayhem show, indie show, is going to be.
That would be awesome.
You've heard about it. I'll tell you off air because we've talked about it enough. I really don't want to give too many legs to this idea of us running an indie show. But I have said if certain qualifications happen, I will run our indie show. But we are a long way off from that ever happening. So I would just put that out there. So
we're gonna have to have a lot of Patreon in the banks for that to happen.
A lot of Patreons in the bank and other things, but there is no threat of that ever happening at this point. Except for I don't know what Bradley and Matt have planned. It may happen. The Stimmy broil, and we may sponsorship. I don't know what that's going to be. But
Biden Bucks Blast.
Biden Bucks Blast. There you go. You know what else is a blast you can buy with your Biden Bucks? That's some slice on Broadway.
Delicious.
New York City style yinzer made. Remy got to partake in some of it here tonight. Beachview, Carnegie, East End, North Hills. Sorry if you're outside of Pittsburgh. It's a very local thing. Hey, listen, we can't get a pizza sponsor to feed people in the studio and not have it look. I mean, we're not getting some of those other guys. I don't care if you can beat the Hut. F the Hut. Go to Slice on Broadway. If you're not here in Pittsburgh with Slice on Broadway, shop local. Pizza local, guys. Pizza local. Whatever it is, support good pizza. Support independent wrestling. Support independent pizza. That's right. Except for those guys that don't cook their cheese and they're kind of assholes about it. F those guys. Nobody in particular. Anyways, let's move on then. We're going to be right back talking about our homework for the week, which is some classic Lucha Underground. And we'll be back after this.
What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohema. And this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm going to pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
For a foot or an inch, yeah, I fight for you all. Is the truth and I'm in, yeah, I fight for every breath that I...
The world of pro wrestling, it's bigger than ever. So how can you possibly keep up with everything that's happening? Just pro wrestling news. Don't fear falling behind. Give us just 5 minutes every morning and we'll catch you up on the biggest news in the world of pro wrestling. No filler, no rumors, no spoilers, no pop-ups. Just pro wrestling news. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or tell your smart speaker to play the Just Pro Wrestling News podcast. Find out more. Go to justprowrestlingnews.com.
Wrestling Mayhem show. Hope you guys are having some fun. I know we kind of went some different ways there at the end there. So, but we are back. We're going to learn some things. We're going to do some homework. And we got with us Remy LaVey, the Mind Eraser. I want to do it like Mind Eraser.
Like King Diamond.
Can we do that? Is that gonna be your announcement? Can we get Ted over at 2PW to do that?
That'd be great.
I mean, I don't know if that's the direction you want to go with your style, but I mean, you're kind of more. I don't know.
I don't even know what my style is anymore. It's okay.
Like you got a creepy style. I observed that you were because last time I filmed you was so long ago. You were still very dirty.
That was awesome. I kind of missed doing that.
You were dirty Remy coming out of the crowd, and I'm they're so dirty, and so like my idea is that is going to be like more of the Chili Billy Saturday night creep show.
Yes.
Mind Eraser. So like I don't know if that gets a little
I would love that.
Less creepy. So.
I'm just imagining like Vince Neil doing that.
Can we get Freaky to do that since he's been doing weird did you see that fucking clock?
Get me some samples.
There you go.
I can put it in maybe I'll make a new theme or something.
There. Well, you just did that. We are Creative Commons on this show, so take anything you want out of this show and mix it however you want. So
sample this show.
I've been waiting for somebody to take a phrase from this show and mix it in with like techno music.
That would be awesome.
Of something that we've done. It can be the Seth Rollins Godzilla thing from last night. So it would be the thing. Like, listen, no, somebody take P. Diddy's "Come With Me."
Mm-hmm.
We could run
and just put Seth Rollins swinging around the title belt from Mania.
Yeah, no, and then Mike doing his Seth Rollins impressions. From
Just
last
got
night.
takeover, right?
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be at least entertaining, like 5 of us here on this show. So, but.
Because we did just a tiny bit of backstory. We determined that Seth Rollins was Mechagodzilla in the new Kong vs. Godzilla movie.
I still haven't seen that. I just started watching the new Mortal Kombat, which was sick, but I haven't seen the Kong.
Mike is renting a theater up in New York to watch Mortal Kombat.
Respect.
As his belated birthday celebration.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's not that much.
Oh no, we were looking at it for Godzilla. Dutter, I think Dutters was this close to renting it. They were like, we get like 20 people in here. This actually is cheap.
It ain't that much. No. I'm like, fine. If I get the full theater experience from Mortal Kombat and I don't have to worry about it, and I'm with like 8 of my friends.
I got to do that last year for Jurassic Park, and it was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, quick announcement here. We do have the brand new Rise Grand Champion.
Yes.
Ziggy Haim is going to be on the show next week.
Awesome.
Yes. For Ziggy Star Wars Day.
I'm going to say, last time she was here, I gave her a present. And now she got a Mayhem bump. So I'm just saying, could be coincidence, could be not. But for the first new Grand Champion in over a year, with Rise Wrestling. Good to see it's happening.
Ziggy Star Wars Day, Sorg.
Ziggy Star Wars is also May 4th. So I don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I don't.
Sorg.
All I know is we got a Darth Vader helmet here in the studio. And
Sorg, our tagline is going to be May the 4th be with you.
We got to watch the line. Ride the line, Mike. Ride the line.
No, Ziggy.
It is Ziggy, yeah.
She's the Jewish space laser.
She is the Jewish
space
laser.
Come on.
Did she do the T-shirt?
She has a move called the Mazel Tov cocktail.
She does have the Mazel Tov cocktail.
Come on.
Yes.
It all fits.
It does. It's pretty fantastic, actually. Anyways, we got some homework. We had a match. Mike, you selected this week's match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lucha Underground. I picked the match between it was a season 2 match between Prince Puma and Pentagon Jr. And man, oh man, when you open the YouTube video and the first thing you see is Mil Muertes with the title sitting on his throne looking over the arena. God, I missed that show.
Yeah, I forgot it was like that era when it was like, Muertes looking over everything. Is that season 2?
I'm pretty sure that was season 2.
Okay.
And by the way, that throne was made of skulls of people he has murdered.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being the Mac. Not the Mac. Excuse me. Big Rick.
The production value on it was so cool. That was like the first thing that caught my attention. I feel like they just had really good attention.
Have you never seen Lucha?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay.
When it first came out, I think I kind of fell off after the second season. But when it first came out, like, I was really hyped on it, just based on just like I like how kind of like dark and high contrast and comic book, video gamey it kind of looks like. I think they really did a good job like making it feel different and special, but it still was wrestling, still like made sense. It wasn't didn't feel like it was like trying to be something else. It just incorporated the whole like lucha aesthetic really tastefully and like really like respectfully, and like you could tell that all the detail they put into it, all the hard work, and the fans that were coming like to the tapings and stuff, you could tell it was super specific and dialed in like in the best way possible, and it was just really fresh. And like obviously they had so many awesome like guys that you might have only seen like on the West Coast Indies, like in PWG before Lucha Underground. It was a big launching pad for like a lot of guys, and even like M-Dog as like Son of Havoc, like I was marking out for that because M-Dog's awesome, and it was just awesome to see him get that opportunity. But like I know later on, like Paul London did some really cool stuff. I've love Paul London.
Oh, the Rabbit Tribe.
Yeah, that was so that was cool.
Jesus, I forgot about the Rabbit Tribe.
Which include the now Killer Cross.
Mm-hmm.
So that's.
And I mean, by season 4, they just straight up did time travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if you were curious to get back into it from where you left off, it's all for free on Tubi.tv.
Oh, Tubi's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's all free on there. That's that because I was watching, like I'd say pretty much all of season 1 like a couple weeks ago.
It's like the first place I saw like in Helico, and I was there was still familiar like Vampiro was there. There was still familiar like if you were if you watched wrestling in the 90s, there was still some familiar faces and stuff, which I thought was really cool. It was really cool seeing like Ray do his little run there in between going back to WWE and stuff. And yeah, you can just tell that, especially like Pentagon and stuff, like look where most of these guys are now, and Ricochet especially. And like watching this match, it just bummed me out. I was like, why don't they just need to let Ricochet do this stuff? But like that ring is just like so crazy and bouncy, and like it was kind of like had that like ECW cult vibe. The crowd's like just super hyped, and those huge balcony dives like Angelico jumping off that.
Dude, that is between the Lucha crowd, the couple of crowds that I have experienced other.
You were live for this match, right?
Not this match, but I was there for like season 3. I don't think I was there for this.
Okay.
And so between seeing Lucha, seeing like 2 or 3 other shows in California, and seeing like wrestling here in this neighborhood, like that Mexican crowd is like maybe my favorite crowd. So like it's wild. Like they just bring a whole different kind of energy that you're just not used to in indie shows.
The closest thing I got to it was when Matt Collins, Jen, and I were down in New Orleans, and they had the Lucha Underground versus Impact Wrestling show. That show was a trip. that was absolutely nuts.
Like Morrison was there too, right? Was Morrison
man,
there
I should look up.
I think he should have been around there. The show is available. I think I checked it. The show is still available on Impact Plus if you want to go back and watch it.
Really? Because I may actually go back and watch that.
I've been thinking about popping in on that too. So because I was looking up it, because I was like,
I'm all right. I'm looking at the whole.
In the couple Impact Twitch shows that I produced, are also.
I'm
on
looking
there
at the
too,
card
so
right now.
I was digging through all that kind of stuff. So and that was about the same era, wasn't it? Like when I was working with them out in Dayton, like that they were doing that. That was around that same. period.
I'm good. I'm just gonna read the whole card because it's awesome. Matanza versus Caleb Conley, Chavo, Jack Evans, Matt Seidel, and Moose in a 6-way match. Ali and Taya for the Knockouts Championship. Scott Steiner and Teddy Hart versus OVE. Aerostar, Drago, and King Cuerno against Andrew Everett, Desmond Xavier, and DJZ.
Which wait, King Cuerno was in that match?
King Cuerno was in that
Interesting,
match.
since
that's really funny.
Since they're a faction now, so
that's very humorous. Trevor Lee, then now Cameron Grimes, had a match with Marty the Moth.
Oh, jeez.
With Famous B.
Who Marty the Moth, who I believe just
Famous
debuted.
B is awesome.
He's on Dark tonight.
He's on Dark tonight
against Cage.
Brian Cage, yeah.
And for the Impact Tag Titles, Santana and Ortiz against Killshot and the Mac, which I remember that being a bonkers match.
Jeez.
Was Killshot Swerve?
Stain
Strickland?
Yeah.
Swerve, he was awesome in Lucha
Willie
Underground.
Mack.
He was awesome in it. So was Willie Mack. Well, like again, like just like that PWG like crew of like that era was just like psychotic, like insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's definitely what got so many of those guys like up and on to whether it was, NXT at the time or Lucha Underground. Like that was literally like you want to be on TV, you have a crazy match at PWG, and like Regal will literally be there like watching. Like Regal, I went to PWG show and it was crazy because Regal, I looked over at one point and Regal was just like watching all the matches. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, that's sick. He's definitely here like scouting and like.
And now look at the roster.
Yeah. Honestly,
right?
yeah.
Right.
But like he's smart. Like that's cool. Like they had that like top to bottom. But like that West Coast style is like super lucha. Like you like watch like a guy like Brody King. And like ROH and stuff, he's like huge. He's like 6'4", like probably like 250,
and he's
230
been, and he's been doing New Japan.
And
like he's been doing strong. So yeah. So
shout out to Brody. He's awesome. When I went to LA, I got to hang out with him and train at the Santino Brothers School, which is ran by trained by Robbie Phoenix, who is like I think his name was Kid Chaos in XPW, and I just remember like just going to their training class and getting just like literally just like working out, and it got to learn a lot of cool lucha stuff that I've been too scared to try. But no, it's just awesome style out there, and like they really incorporate like the lucha style. It's crazy to see the difference between the East Coast and West Coast that way.
Absolutely. When I got to see, it was I can't remember what it's called, but it was an Inoki Dojo, and it was like a weird hybrid lucha / Japanese style.
It's like Lee
and the wrestling, right?
Taiga style.
I mean, right, like
proto Taiga style.
I saw who's the guy? He's the guy that does the is it Crazy Bone? No, something Bone. Somebody's gonna get me in the chat room with this. Funny Bone? No, that can't be it. He has like kind of a skull kind of paint to it, but
he wrestled
peels it
MV
off.
not that long ago.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. You might be right.
So he was kind of the big name on that one, but like I looked at it in like the wrestling mat, like it was a wrestling ring, but there was zero give in the ring, and it looked like it was just the like amateur wrestling mats on the ring, and that was it. Sure. Like I'm watching these guys take bumps, and I'm like, that ring's not moving
at
all.
It's
right?
Like a stage.
Like it was. It looked like a stage, and they were doing like they weren't pulling. They weren't pulling bumps.
Yeah.
On that thing, and I'm just watching this thing. And Alex Cars was out there with me for that one, and I'm just like, this is intense out here. It was ridiculous. It was like a back of a warehouse, and they sold like I don't know. It was like a furniture flooring company in the front. I'm like,
maybe they were just rolling on everything.
I'm like, what?
Lucha style.
Yeah. I'm like, what neighborhood am I? No, there was some flat. There was some top rope flatbacks that just looked like. So from the chat, I think this is talking about your match earlier with at New Orleans. He says we saw Jeremiah Crane versus Eddie Edwards in an I Quit match where Eddie uttered the immortal phrase "Fuck you, Solomon Crow," which would be the WWE
I thought the hackers gimmick was a cool idea. I'm bummed.
And it's kind of like
he's kind of doing it.
He's kind of doing it now. Like he's kind of doing like a homage, crossover kind of thing. I'm glad he's still with Impact. I think he's still one of the good influences over at Impact. So
I just love Johnny Lee Miller hackers.
Yes. We have to watch hackers again.
It's a masterpiece.
I love it. So I have a match.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking up another.
Okay, I have a match for next week. I thought we should do an homage to Kenny Omega. And I thought, no, I'm not going to make you watch a 45-minute match from Wrestle Kingdom. So I feel like you're not going to. That was one of those things you had to be there, I feel like. So instead, and I'm putting it in the chat room right now, and it's going to involve Kenny Omega. But maybe not. Doesn't look like the Kenny Omega you're used to. We're going to go back to 2008. Ring of Honor's Bound by Hate. And he's in a three-way match against Bryan Danielson and Tyler Black. That's Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan, and
Takeover, right?
Seth Rollins.
It's probably fire.
And I'm sure it is. It's about 18 minutes, the video that they have on Ring of Honor's YouTube page. Yeah?
That's fine. It's a shame because the match I had pulled, I'll wait till next week. I'll just give you a hint. Weapons of Mass Destruction.
Oh, jeez. We went different ways.
I've saved it in my watch later so I can put it out for next week. But yeah, Jesus.
Absolutely.
Oh, and there's because I'm just looking at Lucha Under, I'm typing Lucha Underground, just searching on YouTube. There's a reaction video for someone watching my first time watching Lucha Underground.
Oh no.
It's great. One of the first things he shows is Pentagon breaking tubes over Vampiro's back.
Can I share an adorable moment that's not mine?
Yes.
Because Matt shared this with me the other day. And I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. Apparently his son is asking him interesting historical questions from time to time.
Oh, boy.
And the fun one he got the other day was, Daddy, what was the Montreal screw job?
Well, you see, son, Brett refused to do business.
I'm gonna let him tell the answer to it. Like maybe Monday we'll ask it again. But but it was just like I just love that idea. So
is that because of the Impact pay-per-view?
I don't know. I don't know where he's getting it from. So
because
I mean,
the Hebners have never screwed anyone before, right?
No, it was before the pay-per-view. He was telling me about this. So I think, but it was definitely before that kind of stuff. So. Well, on that note, let's find out what everybody learned from wrestling this week. Mad Mike?
Oh, God, what did I learn? I learned that it doesn't necessarily pay to go back to Impact. I learned that The Miz may be the most underrated multiple-time world champion of all time.
Oh, shit, yes.
Like, legitimately. they came out with the WWE 24 special on the Miz.
Yeah.
And my God, like just because they talk about everything. Like they go through his time on the Real World. They talk about like everything with the Diva search and everything, and how he was mocked and ridiculed and all that stuff, and just how he built himself up. And like I think like I highly recommend watching it. Like watch the whole documentary. But I think one of the craziest like encapsulations of the Miz is, I forget who it was. It might have been Ziggler saying it, like that. How ironic it is that it's that the Mania main event with Miz and Cena might have been the highlight of his career, and Miz can't remember it.
Oh,
like that is heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
That is heartbreaking. Like, and they show like footage of him after the match when he is clearly just out of it. Like he's out of it because he says he doesn't even watch the match back because he doesn't like seeing himself in that state. But the only thing he's asking, like in between them doing like, you know, the concussion tests and everything, he's asking, was it a good match? Did I do a good job? Like that's all he's concerned about in that state. And that is wild to me. Like Miz is probably the most underrated. I don't want to say performer because there are a couple I could probably put above him, but definitely most underrated, multiple-time world champion of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I've always really liked Miz. Yeah, he can talk really well, and he can work with like anyone. Like he is also someone who's gotten a lot better, and you can tell even going back to like I remember him on like dating myself here. I remember like watching him on the Real World, and I was just like, this guy is a total jock. And like normally I would like, you know, 10, 11, however old I was, 12-year-old me would like hate him, but because he liked wrestling and like turned into the Miz character when he got like shit-faced, I was like, all right, this dude's sick because he likes wrestling. And no one at the time, like on MTV or otherwise in pulp culture, like wrestling was definitely not a cool thing like it is now. So I just to see him like come that far and like tough enough and everything, like he's been on it for so long. It's just crazy because I don't know, it's not like the first thing that I think about when I think of him, but when you get to thinking about it, he's been there for so long. And he's just been getting better.
And it is interesting. I forget where I was watching him, but he was talking about. Oh, it was. I think it was an interview he was doing with Renee Young actually on her new podcast. He talked about how he avoided reality show projects for the longest time because he was still worried about that stigma of where he came from.
You want to feel like you really earned it, you know?
But he also just didn't want, he didn't, but he knew the way people look at him and stuff, because he was doing, like, if you get into it, like, he was doing Real World, but then he was doing stuff like you know, appearances and things because of the Real World.
That schedule.
He would do like the challenge.
No, not the challenge. No, I'm talking about like to make money in LA. He was doing shitty appearances because he was a guy from the Real World.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that, like, he has just a horrible taste because of that. And then when the like things like the Ms. and Mrs. stuff came up, which I think they pitched it as a house, like a home and garden show with two of them, and they're like, no, kill the house thing, and we just want you to, is basically how they were pitched the show. And he finally kind of warmed up to it because it's like, well, it's my wife and it's been long enough and things like that. Like to get into that and his kind of, I want to say, hang-ups about, you know, the reality stuff is really interesting. And he admits it's like you know, yeah, I could do this stuff, but it's like I don't want to be known as that guy, you know. So
I think he
because he took so long to get out of it.
Yeah, I think he became like known as a wrestler first and foremost.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it feels good to like be able to finesse the situation now and just get that money, get that bag. and be like, yeah, like now what? Like I do have a reality show and I'm paid. Like,
and honestly, to close out, he again should be Johnny Cage. In the next
I saw some of that.
one.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
He is literally the embodiment of Johnny Cage. He's literally the embodiment of it. Like he really is. As long as he can figure out how to do a split and punch a guy in the dick, that's all you need.
No, I think that would be awesome.
Yep. Remy, what did you learn from wrestling this week?
Oh man.
Or relatively recently. That's fine. I mean, it could be something from 2PW. It could be something from
just I think what I was
month.
like getting back to what I kind of touched on earlier, just like how important the fans and that interaction is, and just how much, you know, I've missed having you know, the energy to feed off of from the crowd. And you know, 2PW was awesome to see. And like what's cool about that is I feel like, you know, in Freeport, it's like they don't get wrestling every month. So
No.
you can tell they just like really appreciate it, and it's a lot of people, some familiar people, but a lot of people there like I didn't recognize.
Yeah, I was curious if that was like generally. I thought it was just going to be, hey, everybody came down that usually goes to Worthington, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw some diehards, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, but yeah, there were definitely a lot of people there that I didn't recognize, and they were into it the whole night. And you know, kudos to them, and thank you to everyone who came out, and everyone who's, you know, risked their well-being in the last year and a half to come out to a show. And I think that, you know, that's one of the best things about wrestling is it's a place you're supposed to go to kind of escape from reality for a while. And you know, I'm glad that as things kind of slowly get back to normal, especially with being able to have fans there, I think you know, both the fans and the wrestlers will are starting to realize how much, you know, they need the other. So yeah. It's the best part about wrestling is that energy.
They actually mentioned that a little bit in the Miz documentary too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
They go all the way up through his title win, like against Lashley. So.
Oh, that's cool. It's very current.
I forgot how good it feels being at a show and like that intro video is playing, and kind of getting hyped for the show.
Yeah, it was
like
awesome.
sitting there ringside ready to film the show, and like that video's going and kind of feeling that energy and stuff. Like that's, man, there's a little bit of a high that I've been missing on that.
You can tell too just how much Marshall really cares and how much
I want to say I don't touch any of those videos. That's him. Like those intro videos, that's all him.
A lot of people.
And that was a hell of a video.
A lot of people don't know like how much like I really respect his DIY like do it yourself grind, because that's how I've always tried to do my stuff. And I mean, I've known Marshall for so long. He's always had my back, and definitely when I first started, he kind of put me under his wing in a lot of ways and really looked out for me. And like he definitely looks out for, you know, like all the you know, the more, I don't know, like, you know, young and up and coming guys. He really makes an effort to showcase them and give them, you know, some refreshing matchups that you know, fans might not see anywhere else. So, you know, shout outs to Marshall and all 2PW, because it's always a pleasure to work there, and the fans are the best.
Awesome. Always good vibes over there. That's not my level. Hey, from the chat room, sorry, I'm juggling a little bit over here. From the chat room, Tina Keys learned that Raw has made me appreciate sleep more. That seems about right. And also a reference before about the Montreal theory. The kids at school have been talking.
Ah, okay.
There you go. Matt Carlins.
Well, you know what? He just needs to tell those kids, hey, you know what? Brett wouldn't do a job. So the job had to be done to Brett.
It's best for business. Matt Carlins learned Kenny Omega is the greatest wrestler of the last 10,000 years. And Dave Potter learned that I'm enjoying NXT more since they aren't counter-booking AEW. Also, Drunk Jericho is not entertaining. Where is Drunk Jericho at? What was... Was this a podcast or something, or
Probably
on Talking Shop-A-Mania or something?
Yeah,
feels like. So
Jericho's sober is barely entertaining. anymore,
yes,
so.
great promo though. I did still enjoy some Jericho work even these days.
But yeah, NXT next week looks.
It looks
fantastic.
just watching the background here, what they've been doing, it just like looks freaking on right now. And yeah, so and I don't know if it's Wednesdays. I don't know if it's what it is. Maybe it's just in a different gear post Mania. But man, it's looking good. I'm learning from wrestling this week. Man, so this is the first week since it came on that I got to watch AEW Dark Elevation unopposed, which means I got to watch it at 7 o'clock as opposed to whenever I turned it on during Raw or was done with my client that usually comes in on Mondays. We finally got some scheduling worked out, and yeah, so we had an opening, and I was like, I sat because my wife, God bless her, she's a wrestling fan, but she's not all of this wrestling fan, right? She's like, you watch too much wrestling and I can't digest it all. I was like, that's fine. I was like, listen, watch the first hour and then I'll go up and multi-screen. So that's because I know that gets crazy and you can watch your stuff down here. And it was like, I was like, AEW Dark is, if you're like, Raw is so bad, and she a little bit she's seen, she's like, yeah, it's bad, it's not good, it's not enjoyable. And I was like, well, this is lightweight wrestling programming, right? There's a lot of new people. The storylines, she's like, well, I'm worried about the story, following the storylines. I'm like, not a problem on the show, okay? So not a problem. So if you're like, don't want to worry about tuning in Wednesday nights and don't know what the Young Bucks or if they're heel or face this week or what Darby Allin's doing or don't know what we're talking about with Sue's mom and the best friends and don't get all that kind of stuff, it's kind of like the Dark Elevation are kind of the show for you as that little introductory thing, right? You're not going to find all the big names, but if you're just looking for that kind of wrestling and you're coming from really enjoying indie shows, I think that's the thing. I think if you really enjoy just like seeing a random indie show, like I think that's what the shows are for, right? But it was interesting getting a little bit of commentary from that through the show too. So I learned that I think I can get my wife to watch at least some AEW with me.
Oh yeah.
So I was worried because she was standing there for the first 5 minutes of Dynamite one week and was like, I don't like Tony Schiavone. And I'm like, oh no, we need to have a discussion. So, but anyways, Remy LaVey, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you online? You're all over all the social medias.
Yeah, it's just, I think at Remy LaVey on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. That's, I think I use Instagram probably the most. So that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. I got RemyLaVey.BigCartel.com. Like I said, with no intermissions right now and shows slowly coming back, support all your favorite independent wrestlers, all your favorite podcasts, shows like this. Super important for us to come together and, even if it's not financially, just by tuning in or reaching out or, liking and sharing a post, whatever it may be on the digital side of things, it goes a long way. And I know that we all appreciate it right now.
Absolutely. I was surprised in early discussions. I was doing these kind of roundtable, like just getting like 3 or 4, wrestling people on and be like, so how are you dealing with things? And like, Beastman is going for a walk while he's on with us, like stuff like that. And and it was really amazed conversation. I think Rev, I was having the conversation with him and a couple other guys on that one. And how much I was like, well, this is your indie wrestling, it's your side hustle, so like that's not a big financial hit for you or something, right? Or like, actually no, like
no, it really was for
some
me
of
too.
You guys, like some of these guys, that you're seeing, you may think, oh, they got the day job, that's whatever, right?
Yeah.
That aren't like the big touring people maybe, and it's like, no, this is a chunk. Like some of you guys do really good at those tables. And,
when I have good merch, it's crazy. It is like life changing.
Not to say like crazy. You guys are like rolling it over there, but it's just like it keeps everything moving.
Absolutely.
Let's say it that way. Just like Patreon, like helps us pay hosting fees to keep moving forward.
Exactly.
And if Patreon, if we had our equivalent of Patreon going away, like that's going to be a chunk that we have to make up.
If I wouldn't have noticed it, it's not like before all this, like I would think like, oh, like, you know, obviously before that you're like, oh, I got to be making more money.
Yeah.
But then then the pandemic hit, and I slowly started to realize, like, yo, like, this sucks. Like, you know, even having a couple extra $100, like if I did like a 2 shows in one weekend or 3 shows in a weekend, and I had my merch, you know, right, which I rarely have, but even if I had a new shirt or, you know, some pictures or whatever, or like gym shorts, like when I had those gym shorts, they sold really fast. And like I remember specifically thinking to myself because of that, like, hey, this is why you shouldn't, you know, put off getting new merch all the time, and keeping the stuff small quantities, and so you can always keep, you know, fresh merch coming in.
There's a MC Front a Lot. I think he does it with MC Lars, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that like the nerd rapper guy?
It was, they're the nerd rapper guys. MC Lars is pretty awesome.
That's cool. I respect.
I got to chat with MC Lars a couple of times.
That's like,
but they have a song together called, I forget what it's called, but the basically entire song is, I was here to be a rapper, but now I'm in the T-shirt business, and I can tell you about thread counts and quantities and things like that. And
just relating to merch,
and that's wrestling. And that you know, it's like, I'm in the T-shirt business, and like, you know, you do your shows, but you make your money selling the T-shirts. Like it's especially music. Like your money's at the merch table, right? And same with wrestlers. So you know, you're like, well, I wanted to be a wrestler. But
wrestlers and wrestling fan people are.
But
like,
I'm in the T-shirt business.
Yeah, and wrestling fans and like wrestlers are some of the most T-shirt people there are.
Yep.
And just consumers.
Just talking about
in
wardrobes.
General.
I'm shocked when I figured out how many drawers were full of wrestling T-shirts. It's kind of.
People have like absurd amounts of like Funko Pops and like buy all the new WWE shit.
I mean, it's
respect.
It's like you ever see Magnum CK's first documentary, and there's the one guy in there that like has all the wrestling T-shirts, but he's like too embarrassed to wear them anywhere. But he has an entire closet.
That's lame. You gotta wear them.
Hey, well, they go into it, and you know it becomes a thing on the show. You know,
that's cool.
that they do. But yeah, like that kind of thing. You know, it's like I feel like I would have that closet. You know,
I feel like I start collecting stuff and then I get bored like before I have a proper collection of anything.
So I'm impressed because I'll pull out like, hey, here's a Sean Phoenix one from like 3 years ago, right? And I feel like Mike has like the most pristine new collection over there that I see, because I feel like I don't see a lot of repeats going on over there.
No. See that door right back there?
Yeah.
All shirts?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Respect. I have a ton of shirts too. I have a lot of band shirts.
Like I have a couple that I know don't even really fit me anymore, but I still keep them as kind of nostalgia.
Mike, are we the guys that wear wrestling shirts to our wrestle jobs? Is that it? Is that what's happening?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
You know.
I mean, yeah. It's,
wear what you like. Wear what's comfortable and wear what you like.
Listen, I'm usually wearing a wrestling shirt or a video game shirt if I'm sitting in here. That's it.
I never wear wrestling shirts.
No.
I have some like OG ones that are really sick, and some like I have my Atticus shirts.
Right.
Shirts of my friends.
Support the friends. Support the friends.
Oh,
that's the thing.
And Sorg, I forgot. I learned one more thing.
Yes.
It's not from wrestling, but it's wrestling adjacent. And it's weird.
Okay.
I learned for those people who are missing the Iconics and need kind of an iconic fix. It's not the same thing by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been watching The Circle Season 2 on Netflix. And there is a British chick on there who kind of looks like Peyton Royce, but acts like the Iconics, and even says, almost in every episode, "You've got to be joking me." So it kind of it's like coming off of a high.
Okay.
So if you are missing the Iconics and don't want to watch old matches because it brings up bad memories, watch Season 2 of The Circle.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So if you need your Iconics methadone, he's got it right there.
Absolutely.
Hope I got the right. I almost said serotonin. I knew that was the wrong one. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Dopamine. Dopamine. I think
there you go. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. We will be back next week again. Rise Grand Champion Ziggy, I almost said Remy. Ziggy Heim will be with us. And
Ziggy, Star
shout
Wars
out
Day.
Ziggy. It's awesome.
Yes. No, it'll be fun having her back on again. Keep an eye out for we got some other cool stuff in the works. So check out all the feeds for IndieWrestling.us and Wrestling Mayhem Channel, of course, Prospect Pro Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling Conquest. And we will not be there. It's a month out still. We will not be there due to prior commitments. But Warrior Wrestling is having a crazy show on the June 5th.
Yeah, that show is crazy.
I think the main event. I think is Traylon Miguel and Lee Moriarty.
Yes.
So for the Warrior Championship, and the last show I did with them was when Trey won the belt in a 3-way, won the belt from Bryan Pillman Jr. and it was a 3-way that also involved Brian Cage.
Oh, that was
so it was
awesome.
ridiculous. All those shows should be on High Spots and Fight TV, and the pay-per-view will be on Fight TV. So I recommend that if you're not doing anything June 5th. I will be in Florida, I think, for something else that's not wrestling related. But I'll be looking for wrestling shows in Florida, so that's usually a good one to find them. And I think that's all the plugs. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm sure I'm missing something, but we'll see you guys next time. Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.